If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is May the 24th, 2022, and today the topic is familiar, deceitful spirits. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday. Mine was just fine. Mine kind of felt like almost like a do nothing day. I mean, I didn't have too much to do in particular. Like no meetings per se, no filming or anything like that. So did kind of try to catch up on rest. Look. What? Shout out to me, y'all. Shout out to me. I did work out yesterday. Woo! Kick my workouts back out. Kick my workouts back off. But yeah, so that's one good thing to report. The good thing about that is when I did it, I feel good. I feel good doing it. So maybe I needed that rest or whatever. I thought that I was gonna be worn out or feeling like, oh God, But nah, when I started to do it, I just felt like I was back into the routine and it felt good. It felt good. So it's God be the glory for that, you know what I mean? Yes. Do 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 do. Other than that, yeah, yesterday just was, nothing in particular to report. Working on this, working on that. As always. Um, but yeah. Oh, that's it with that then. Because I sit here trying to remember, like, did anything of significance happen for me to share with y'all? And I don't know, maybe it'll come out later. But anyway, so yeah, that's what yesterday looked like to me in my life. But in regards to this topic for today, so I woke up this morning. I think I woke up like a smidge early. I didn't look at what time it was. I tried to go back to sleep, and then I heard my alarm went off and whatnot. And so I got up. I started, doing things so I can stay up and get bright eyed and bushy tailed. And so yeah, once I started my prayer meditation this morning, it was really good. It was very interesting because and I might share this in the after show, I guess details and whatnot. But basically, long story short, as I was scrolling through and just doing little stuff online to just wake myself up this morning, I came across a post in one of the podcast groups, one of the Christian podcast groups, and it was like, oh, if you want to be a guest, comment below, like, what you bring to, I guess, the table, basically. Like, what do you bring to the table as a guest? And so, I was telling the people, I just was like, as the host of GSL and everything like that, I'm trying to bring a space where people can feel, feel comfortable, open, to be open, transparent about what it really looks like to incorporate God in every aspect of your life, right? And I said more stuff, but I was also just pretty much sharing how, some of my passions are like, I got a passion for single people, Christian singles in particular, and then I also have a passion for, hopefully encouraging and inspiring people to walk in their purpose, right, and build their relationship with Christ and everything like that. I might read the actual comment to you all that watch the live version. I might read that later so y'all can hear exactly what I said. But basically, that's what I was saying, and it was very interesting. The reason I'm telling y'all this is because when I started the prayer meditation this morning, it was all about purpose, and I'm over here like, wow. Like, it's just reiterating what I had just wrote. It's like I wrote that, and then I went to go listen to Soul Space, and then it's like, oh. So, yeah, it was nice to listen to, what they were sharing about purpose. Made me sit up a little straighter and whatnot, but it was like instructions like sit up straight, head held high about, the purpose that God has created you, the reason you were created and whatnot. And so that was beautiful, right? That was beautiful to listen to. I want to say at some point, I don't know if it was like right before I started or midway or I don't know. At some point, um, the phrase familiar spirit came into my mind, and I was thinking about um, a conversation that I had the other day. With y'all know the guy. I mean, he's been on GSL several times. His name is Ranye. I guess maybe this week, be on the lookout. We might be doing something this week. So, but I guess I'll let y'all know when I know. But we were talking the other day, and we ended up talking about familiar spirits and whatnot. And I was sharing. I don't know if I shared with him the details, but basically, I don't even know if this was in the book. I know it was in my notes for the book, but I don't know if I put it in the book or not. But anyway, um, so basically, there's this phrase that has been said, and I don't know. See, I don't know. Should I say? I don't know. Should I say the phrase? I might not say the phrase because I ain't got time for no YouTube people to be y'all come meet me and then y'all come say the phrase. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave that part out. Thank you, Lord, for wisdom. Uh-huh. No, but yeah, basically, there was this phrase that has been repeated um throughout my life, and it's like different people would say it, and each time it would remind me of the first time I heard it. I've heard it at least 3 times now. Um, and it's very interesting because I don't know exactly what it means, but on the flip side, I'm like, um, it just seemed very familiar, right? um, and I kind of want to tell y'all, but on the flip side, like I said, I think I'm gonna use wisdom here and not say it. But basically, okay, the first time I heard it, right, I was out. It was either I don't know if it was after a show or we were promoting a show, but I was hanging out with this director, and we would go to this what's it called, like an open mic night type of thing. We would go to that, and she would want to promote the show as well as just go and have a good time. And this was in my Florida days, and um and afterwards, they'll have dancing and whatnot. And so I was dancing with this guy. Didn't really know him. Like I knew of him, but I didn't know him like that. You know what I mean? Just you know the person's name, that type of thing. So we were dancing or whatever, and I could tell he was a little tipsy or whatever like that. But we were just having a good time, just dancing. Then all of a sudden, he just kind of looks at me and says the phrase. And it was weird because again, with me not knowing him like that, that's what made it weird. You know what I mean? It wasn't a how can I say it? Oh, I can't say it. But it was a phrase where you would be like, why would you say that? And that's weird because we don't even know each other like that. You know what I mean? But okay. So he had said it, and then he kind of started laughing, and then just kind of kept dancing and whatever like that. But it always kind of stood out as being like kind of weird. Then when was the second time? The second time I heard it, uh, I want to say, I want to say it was when I don't know if this is accurate now. I can't confirm the second time to be accurate, but I think it was when I was hanging out with this other guy. It was a completely different guy. Like the time I don't know. It was like a while. After that first encounter, a completely different guy said the same thing. Um, not to say it the exact same way, but kind of when we were hanging out, and I just was like, interesting. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, that reminds me of that first time. And then I want to say it happened again once I moved back up here. if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting this wrong. I do not like to misquote. People that know me know I say that all the time. I don't want to misquote. Let me go back to my notes. I think I might have wrote about each time, but I can't remember right now. But anyway, the reason I'm sharing this with y'all is just to say that like it felt very familiar each time, even though they were different people that said this phrase to me, completely different places and all this type of stuff. It just was very interesting that that phrase was said each time, and it felt very familiar. So, but anyway, we were talking about familiar spirits, and anytime I think about that, I think about those encounters and whatnot. Because again, the way it always was said, no matter who said it, each three of the times, it was said very confidently. It was said very like, how can I say, like, I was about to say arrogantly, but not necessarily arrogantly, just kind of like confidently. The first, like I said, first time I came with laughter, um, and I can't remember the details about the last couple of times. But anyway, but it's very interesting, and then always made me think about the first time I heard it, and I just was like, all right, well, I'm gonna prove you wrong, whoever you are. Like, who are you really? Who am I really talking to? You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean, but there's people out here that might understand what I'm talking about, because again, the word says, right, we don't fight against flesh and blood. I know I'm sharing that verse today along with some other verses that I'm sure y'all have heard before, but I just found that to be interesting. And so I guess as I started to look up verses centered around that this morning, I started to more so focus on deceitful spirits with the things that I was reading, and eventually basically I ended up putting them both together, familiar deceitful spirits, because you might encounter familiar deceitful spirits. They might be familiar and they might be deceitful, you know. So let's see what the word got to say. So 1 Timothy 4:1 says, "Now the Spirit expressly says that in the later times some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons." Now this verse goes on, and I was very, very, very close to writing the rest down, but I ended up putting it in the go deeper section because I don't know, I was getting the feeling like that was going to be meat, and I might just need to focus on milk in this conversation. But if you're ready for some meat, man, check out 1 Timothy 4:1-5. That's very interesting. Like when you look at what that verse is saying and you think about like the movements that are being made these days and like the different things that are being like encouraged these days and stuff, it's just very interesting to see those things listed out, because it's like, you know, now obviously again you have to be spiritually mature, I believe, to receive what that's saying in those verses that I just shared with you. But yeah, I just found it very interesting with those verses, because it's not that they were saying things that you would think would be bad. Like when you think evil or deceitful and stuff like that, you think like something horrible, right? And in that verse, in the 1 Timothy 4:1-5, it's not saying like horrible things per se, but it's very interesting like what it is saying. And then again, the movements that are created right now centered around these things. One of them is, for example, I'm paraphrasing it, but it's discouraging marriage. Like there's a strong, I believe that it depends on where you're looking, and it depends on the content and everything like that. But I will say there is like a push for, singleness. There's a push for, oh, marriage is just a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Like how many times have you heard that in your life? You know what I'm saying? And the fact that in the Bible it's already said that these type of spirits would promote that type of thing is just very interesting. The other thing is, do I want to get into it? Lord, you want me to get into it? I mean, basically, it's about like the food aspect and whatnot, and I found it to be funny because it might, some people might get offended. You know what I mean? Because y'all don't want to eat certain things and you don't want other people to eat certain things. But I just thought that was interesting as well. Like, just read it if you can, and if you are interested, go deeper go deeper and see what that has to say. And I just found it to be interesting. That's all. But anyway, 2 Corinthians 11:14, it says, and no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. I mean, that's not news. I mean, not to a Bible reader, Bible believer, you know what I mean? But I think that's what makes, not say the line slippery, but kind of like, I think that might be something that trips people up, because things that seem to be good, right, seem to be like, all right, Lord, all right. Well, we know, like, for example, equality is one of those things. When you hear equality, you think that's a positive thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with equality, right? But when you see equality being pushed the way it's being pushed right now, at least I'll just speak on me, right? When I see equality being pushed the way it's pushed now, I can see, how we gotta test the spirits that is talking about the equality, because if the equality is going against what the word says, then that doesn't make it good, basically. And I know that, I know that's controversial to say. Everybody might not receive that, but anywho, that might be some Pope this morning. But yeah, we gotta like the word say, test the spirits and everything like that. We can't just because we think it's good doesn't mean everything is good. And the Bible says that too. Like, so I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go deeper. Let's keep going. Ephesians 6:12, it says, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the consuming powers. Wait. Over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. So, spirited point. Y'all can confirm with those those words that I jumbled up. My apologies for that. Again, just writing. I mean, just be going when I be writing these things down sometimes. But yeah, I mean, y'all know the part about we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, and that's why we have to have grace and mercy with people, because at the end of the day, well, okay, for example, there's going to be some verses in the Go Deeper section, and one of them is going to be talking about a young woman that was that had, I guess, like the spirit of divination, and her owners or whatever would use her to make money in regards to like being a medium or whatever. And but you can see like how the prophets handled her, you know what I mean. It was, they cast out those spirits from her, because at the end of the day, it wasn't the girl per se, it was the spirit within her, if that makes any sense. And those of y'all that hear and understand what I'm saying, then didn't hear and understand, I guess. But yeah, so again, and I found that to be interesting this morning, because when I think about that and these next couple of verses, I just wonder how we can be confused about that concept. But anyway, let me read him, and then we can chit chat. Let's see. So let me start with this one first. It says in Luke 8:2, it says, and also some women who had been oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm so telling you, who have been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had gone out. So this woman had 7 demons, right? How do we? Let me keep going. Let me show y'all this one. Revelation 16:14. For they are demon spirits performing something. I apologize at all. Who go abroad to the kings of the whole world to assemble them for battle, in the great day of God the Almighty. So both of those accounts, right, are talking about spirits that are uh, within people. You know, the first one was talking about the seven of them that was in Mary, that they called Magdalene. And then the other ones are talking about the ones that go abroad to the kings and whatnot, and basically are getting ready for battle, and everything like that. So with these accounts, right, how can we as believers, right, how can we not understand the concept of what that other verse said, that we're not fighting against flesh and blood? Like, how can we not understand it? How can we not understand that, some of these spirits might need to be cast out? You know what I mean? Some of these might be, prayer, fasting, all these different things that are in the Bible of how to handle such. Which again, in the Go Deeper section, you're going to see how, these biblical figures handle these things. But yeah, I just found it to be very interesting that, we as believers, I guess, struggle with this idea of understanding that there's a deeper thing at play. Deeper things are happening outside of what we just see. We focus so much on what we see that we, I guess, forget about the other aspect. And until, I guess, it's convenient. I guess until it's convenient, or maybe even sometimes we might, think that, well, that's them and not me. Like that spirit can't be operating in you. I'm just saying, like, and maybe even me, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, and I'm sure there was times where certain spirits was operating in me, and I'll be honest about that or whatever. I mean, because when you out of the will of God, right, you open to that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I could probably recall some times in my life where, again, if I wasn't on track, I wasn't doing what the words say, I wasn't living accordingly, X, Y, and Z, then I was operating in another spirit, and everything like that. And so, I mean, that might be pulp today, y'all. I don't know, but hey, that's what came to me this morning, so that's the juice. I hope you're encouraged and inspired to at least check out the Go Deeper section and, peruse it and let those verses marinate on your heart, souls, and minds this morning. But the Bible verse of today is Colossians 4:6. It says, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Everyone is stuck at home, but life is still happening around us every day. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and celebrations. Send your friends and family the gift of wine from the comforts of home. Wine shop at home with Miracle of Wine. Wine, gift baskets, wine accessories, and more at miracleofwine.com.